Hey guys, so this is a face you don't know. His name is Whopper and he is now our dog, and his family were in Tanzania, European, for a long time, and they had to leave, and they didn't want Whopper to leave the property where they were living and move to a city in Holland where he would have not a lot of space, etc. So Whopper is a Ridgeback Boer Bear, or South African Mastiff cross. He's a bit of a monster, a bit of a big one. So he's now one of our security team. And I am here in a new location, and I want to tell you all what's going on and explain where we are and where you're going to be seeing us in the future is around here, because I'm homebound from my sickness most of the time, so I'll be here. So before I go any further and tell you this, because I want to really get into the meat of why we are here. And it's something I said I would never ever do, but we are presently in an affluent area of Tanzania, and the house is owned by a Tanzanian, and we have an arrangement that I'm staying here as long as I need until I'm better. They don't use the house, they were renting it out for the last 9 years, and they live in the city. So, but before I do any of that, I want you to see a clip. Now, the day before I was moving in here, I was feeling very uneasy about it, and some people commented on a video from August 2017, and it's a video I haven't seen in a long time, but I do remember making it, and I'll show you a clip from that video now. All these things about us finding our spiritual strength, but you know, part and parcel of it's a very selfish reason, because somewhere in me I'm hoping to call on reinforcements to come here, but I hope sometimes in what I share that some reinforcements will appear and come and back us up, you know, come and give us a break maybe. I need a break. I definitely need a break. My body's not what it was. It's really not what it was. And I'm at my limits here. And now I'm at my limits. And I've said to Fritzy several times this week, I feel a need to take a break. A proper break, you know. We went home for our wedding for 3 weeks, and it was nice, but we had a wedding to deal with. Weddings are kind of tiring. And then we had a honeymoon, which, you know, was just simply 5 days. It wasn't a honeymoon, it wasn't a break, you know, it was 5 days hopping around in Cumbria and climbing the odd mountain. It was nice, but it wasn't a break. Not after 4 years of slogging it out like this. And that's one of my prayers at the moment, is that God provides me with a break. Now, in that video in August 2017, I didn't know I had Lyme disease, and I was very weak, very tired, I was in a lot of pain, and I thought I was just overworked. I'm aware I abused my body to build what we built here. It was beyond what my capabilities were to be working that many hours a day. And I always say that to people who say, oh, I wish I could live like that, I wish I could do something like that. And I say, well, stop watching Netflix series, stop going to the bar, and put the work in, and you'll get there, as far as I'm concerned, you know. If you're watching a Netflix series and you've got an hour or 2 hours every day of your life gone, I mean, that's so much productivity. I couldn't even dream of doing that. So, my bum's hurting. So, it was very clear to me in there that I needed a break, I needed a rest, and I actually never did it. You know, in my own arrogance, stupidity, and also just the nature of everything, I never felt I could let go and actually have that break. And since that video was made, you all know I nearly died several times. Heart swelling, airlifted to Kenya, seizures, horrible stuff going on. And my body was just under siege from every angle, both aside from the babesia and the Lyme and the damage that's done to my mitochondria, then emotionally, physically and mentally, it was just too much for me as a human being to bear all of this burden whilst I'm sick as well. And thus, for all I felt bad coming here, that video put me at ease, because I looked in the comments section and all the people were saying you should take a break. And a friend of mine yesterday said you deserve a proper break. It's time. You haven't actually had any time off in the whole time you've been working since coming to Tanzania, and before when I was doing everything. I haven't had any time off. So I've moved to an affluent area because it's more secure. It's very open here. It's not like heavily populated, but everybody has armed guards because there's a level of affluence. And we have this big boy here. Aslan's first dog is coming this week, who is a Ridgeback Boer cross, purebred, very powerful dogs. Ridgebacks and Boers were both bred for keeping lions at bay, and to cross them creates a very strong security dog, but also a good family dog as well for Aslan. So Thor is coming as well, and Johnnicky's here, and then we have armed guards. Armed guards protecting us as well. The location is undisclosed because we've had so many strange security issues over the years. I think you've all witnessed this, you know what I mean, that we said just best nobody knows where we are. So we are tucked out of the way. We are still close to Featherstail, but we are in a secret location, so to speak. Now, security is very high on my list of priorities because as a European here, or a Mzungu, a traveller, more than a European, you could be anything, you are a target for crime. And that happens in developing nations where people are desperate. But just so you're aware of something that none of you know about, the year I came to Tanzania to take over the NGO that was called Village to Village, I came to volunteer not to take it over, but I ended up taking it over. But when I came here, I made clear that I was planning to stay and use my skills to try and grow that NGO into something that will help the children here. Prior to coming, now a friend of mine, Anna, she informed me that that same year, at Featherstail, the property that is now one of the children's homes was being used to keep volunteers from Europe there whilst they work on community projects with HIV. Armed bandits attacked that property months before I was to move there by myself, and they held everybody at gunpoint, and the women were raped. And this has been at the forefront of my head since getting here, because even when I was planning to come and try and help these children, I had that immediately. I was coming to live in the house where that happened by myself without any security. So it was so off-putting, it was so difficult for me to come. And it's in my mind, and since then I've had so many security things happen, and unexplained things happen as well, that security is really high on the priority list. And I know the most secure place is here because of all of the armed guards. Nobody wants to come here, and if anybody does come here, the guards can shout, and you've got just endless security all the way along all the properties, etc. So the fact I'm staying here brings such a level of peace to me, because there's literally I have no security concern. It feels like I've gone to Europe, and that's important for me, for my healing as well, and when I've got my family as well. Of course, Featherstail is secure with the Maasai and everything, but just, I don't know, I slept easier here last night, just knowing where I am, and you're not a target here, you know. So the house is stunning, and it's very, very beautiful. The grounds are very, very beautiful. And as I say, I stay here as long as I need. I don't know if that'll be 3 months, 6 months, a year. I have no idea. But what I need to do is just keep looking after my body, because only since I left Feather's Tail was my body starting to recover, because I really need some space to not get stressed. My autonomic nervous system is creating issues in my body, and when I get stressed and have cortisol events, it just is immeasurably worse, and it's so much worse. And I need a barrier between me and the work for a while, because last week when they told me about Nazra, the girl who was beaten and had her leg amputated, her grandmother beat her that badly that amputated her leg. Now, these things have always made me rage inside. I'm that sort of man. Inside me, when I hear stuff like that, I get angry, and I mean very angry, because I cannot abide it. I cannot abide harming the innocent. I can't stand it. But I always used to transmute, and still do, transmute that energy into doing something productive to help whoever is getting hurt. So anger can be a good thing. But because I'm sick, they told me, and I could feel the anger rising, and I started expressing it, and I was, oh, this bad, and I was shouting. And Fritzi stopped, and she was like, John, I just passed a message, and I was like, I'm not shouting at you, I'm shouting about the woman, let me express myself. And I was so angry, like normal, but it was coming through my voice into my words. That's not normal. Normally I keep it in. And also as well, I just feel on edge with Tanzanians. Here, nobody will ask me for help because it's affluent. And I've gotten so worn down in my body, that's why I'm on edge with people who were trying to help. Now, I said in a recent video, love is a key priority when helping people. And if you're getting frustrated with the people you're trying to help, it's clear evidence that I need to step back and walk away and regroup and gather myself. So, as if by magic, this place appeared as well. Because even, I said to Fritzi, if we get somewhere new that's ours, you know, this is ours. The other place was a holiday home in a garden. It wasn't ours. This right now, nobody's disturbing. This is our property to live in and do as we please whilst we're here. We can even decorate, which we won't be doing, but because it's just adequate as it is. But it's ours. It's home. You know, it's a secure home. And at the other place, that feeling wasn't quite there. You know, it felt like an Airbnb sort of thing, if that makes sense. So we're grateful that we are able to come and be in that safer space mentally, sort of thing. But oh. Hey, whopper, got me scared the crap out. So it all just slotted into place perfectly. Even said to Fritzi I want a YouTube studio if we get another property away from Feather's Tail, because I don't have one, with good natural light. The garage here, the front of the garage has no door, it's just got mosquito net, and the back wall's painted green, like the YouTube green screens you need. So it just seems all so perfect, basically, for us. And I must admit, I'm very at peace here. And I could only do this because we've got the new assistant director, Beatrice. And actually, in many retrospects, he can run the Tanzanian NGO better than me because he's Tanzanian. And even after all these years, there are cultural differences. You know, people have, no matter how much education you give them, confusion regarding Europeans or Americans and Australians, etc., Chinese, that they all just have infinite deep pockets and lots of money from a money tree, you know. And it's become increasingly difficult for me that people have, for me on a personal note, people haven't had empathy for my position. And I've even had people who felt, because I'm sick and I'm a little bit distant and I'm struggling, that because I'm not on the ground helping the people and the organisation has grown, that somehow, because now there's more money around the organisation, that is why I'm not bothering with the people on the ground, because they know I'm around, but I'm not doing anything. And some days I don't look sick, you know, like I don't look it, but if you ask me to walk 2 kilometers, you'll see me sick straight away. So the difficulty of being around and also not being mobile and active with people was very hard for me, because to have people judge you thinking that I mean, I don't care about money, I'm not financially stable, I don't own anything, the NGO owns everything, My wife and I are homeless if we go back to Europe. We don't have furniture and a home in Europe and all of these things. We're very, and everything we earn on Patreon and then some, because we're having to get money from family and friends and so on, is covering my treatment. So we're living hand, month to month. We have nothing basically. So we're not secure and stable. But when people presume that, of course, our lives look way more affluent than a local Tanzanian, but they have property in a house, they're more secure than we are. They don't grasp it, Our security is in God and trusting that He'll look after us ultimately. And when people judge you as well, it's just too much for you when you're sick. It just hurts, People would think that the reason you're not helping out on the ground is because there's more money around. I came here because I mean, I've had enough of chasing money. I had money. Why would I do that again? Do you know what I mean? But you can't explain this to people, and thus you end up frustrated, and emotionally it hurt. That people were thinking like this. And likewise, at the same time, whilst I've been sick, I definitely have not been myself, and I've made bad decisions, etc. And I even allowed sometimes to be manipulated, which wouldn't have happened in my life prior, when I had full, when I wasn't stuck in bed and under that strain. And thus I think just unplugging myself from it all until I'm better is the safest thing. And it's the only thing left for the longevity of the charity, because if I don't get well now or soon, I have major concerns for the visionary driving force behind everything, because it's like Elon Musk and Google say it's nothing to do with GPA anymore. It's the vision, the creativity of that they look for when they're hiring leaders, and I'm understanding that here, because if the vision's not there to drive and to push and to see it collectively what needs to be done, then things can start dropping apart immediately, And I can see that most people would focus on making the office work as well as it can, etc. But that doesn't assist with longevity and so on and so forth. So I operate differently to other people in that sense. And I think that's because I've started from the beginning. I have a full vision of how it should be. So we are here, and yeah, it was like a dream and a wish came true, basically, being able to stay here. And the guy has land next to this land, which he owns, and he hasn't done anything with it. So he gave us that as well, and he said, that's your garden, you can just rest in there as you please, and you can grow food, do whatever you want to do. So we're going to have a banana orchard and stuff like this, and set that up, because it won't take too long to grow. And I think I'll be here at least 6 months to a year, I would say, at least. So, and judging by the way this romance is going between these two, where are they? Johnnicky has fallen head over heels for Whopper, the big burly one. So we'll see how that continues anyway. I always wanted Johnnicky to have babies, but there's so many dogs in this country, I don't know. But anyway, so I've moved, and I'm taking a break, an actual break, where I am going into what I describe as monk mode. I'm going self-searching, introspection, redisciplining myself, and undoing the bad habits I've picked up whilst sick, including I'm doing a lot of digital minimalism, essentialism. I'm learning a lot of stuff, and I'll be covering it all in videos, etc. And I just wanted you all to know where I am, and that I am blessed and lucky that I'm resting here. And I have another video I'll record after this to show you how profoundly clear God made it that I am supposed to be where I am. So it's a massive synchronicity. I'll make the video now so you're not all confused, and put it on straight after. So this is home at the moment, and it will be for some time, and hopefully this is where you'll see me get better. So, right. God bless, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it really helps us to grow the channel and with it help more children here in Tanzania. Also, don't forget you can support our work by sharing with children in crisis here, be it sharing for a particular need or even sharing one-on-one support for education, housing, food and medical care. It can be done for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a week back in the West after all. Just visit www.sharetanzania.co.uk to find out more. Lastly, remember you can also support us via Patreon, www.patreon.com/featherstail, and help keep us here in Tanzania to continue our work. The links for the website and for the Patreon are in the description box of this video. Love and light, guys. See you soon.